Federal elections, just a couple of points here I wanted to mention with how we get our representatives elected here at a federal level. I think it's brilliant. We have a secret ballot. I think Australia invented that. I think. Yeah. So go us. Secret ballot, so you don't write your name on it, which means there's obviously no linking back to you as the voter as to your intentions. Frees us up, hopefully. And it's kind of funny that that's not always the case around the world. So it's good to appreciate the fact that we have that system.
Have we had that since the beginning?
I don't think so.
Sorry. Very early on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Preferential voting, another thing that's not across the whole world. And this is super critical and super important to understand. Preferential voting means essentially that you get to decide what happens to your vote if your number one candidate is eliminated. Now, in some countries, it's first past the post, and once your number one candidate is eliminated, then out goes your ballot. Thrown away. You're done. It's expired. Not the case here. We put our candidates in preferential order, and that means that if our number one candidate is eliminated, they're the lowest and they get excluded, then all of their votes get recycled, go to their second preference. And one important factor here is that they go to their second preference as a whole vote. It's not 50% of a vote, then a third of a vote, then a quarter of a vote. It's a whole vote. So if your first 7 people get eliminated, your eighth preference still counts as a whole vote. So that empowers Australians to really direct where they want their vote to go to. And that's really important to know. Quotas are interesting as well. I popped that in. In the House of Representatives, each electorate is electing one person to represent that area. So your quota is 50% plus 1. You need to get a majority. In the Senate, it's different. You're either electing 2 senators for the territories or 6 senators if you're in a state for a normal election. All 12 senators if it's a double dissolution. Still always 2 senators for each territory. So that means your quota is lower. About a third for a territory and 14-15%, I think it is, for a normal election in the state. So you only need that lower percentage of the state to get a senator elected. And that throws up a different mix.
On your first preference. Oh, no.
On the count.
On the total count.
Yes. So that's why the Senate count can go on for ages.
Yes.
Because once that's like you have to then, it's a minefield, right?
That's all the paper votes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So it's manual.
Yeah. They've got to go through that. I think they scan them, but I think it's.
We didn't scan them for the referendum. I was one of the people.
But they sort them. They've got to be all sorted. So once it's sorted, and then you find out who's eliminated, then you got to recycle all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, sorting them is the.
Yeah, that'll be the key.
Takes you most of the way.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So if you get to a Senate election and you're wondering why that's taking a while, there's a whole chunk of processing that needs to happen with that. But that's the beauty of our system. Your votes count all the way through until they count, really. And I want to dispel a little myth with donkey votes. Some people have the impression that a donkey vote is when you scribble on it or you write something rubbish and it's not counted. That's not a donkey vote. Donkey vote is that's called an invalid vote. Informal, sorry. An informal vote. A donkey vote is when you've got your list and you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now they're counted because who is the AEC to say that isn't the preference you want? So that's the actual definition of a donkey vote.
So I think like on your list of points there, the other big point is the compulsory vote.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that kind of ties into donkey votes because people have to vote.
Interestingly, as well, there's many seats where the number of informal votes is greater than the difference between the first two candidates.
So annoying, isn't it?
So if you go and if you're
Your vote
chatting to
counts.
people and go, my vote doesn't matter, what's the difference? Well, if you got all of those people that threw out and made an informal vote, and if they all, it's impossible to predict, but if they all agreed the same way, they could have changed the result of an election, of that electorate. The AEC isn't there to go, oh, this isn't done correctly, or there is rules, and that's to help them to really get a clear intention. All they care about is the intent. If you've gone A, B, C, D, E, F, and you filled in all of the things, there's a good chance that they'll go, we can see the intent here. That was the same as 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. If you go in with your own pen, they don't care. That makes it easy for them. All of this sort of stuff. If you show your intent, it's fine. That's what really matters. Okay, federal representation, electorates in state and territory. Now, I sort of mentioned this before, and there's a bunch of asterisks here.